to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Collings.
Here.
Councilmember Klur.
Here.
Councilmember Stackfleth.
Here.
Councilmember Redmond. Mayor Globman.
Here. All right. I guess we're jumping right into item number 3. Are there any special presentations and announcements tonight? I don't believe there are. Oh. Nope, almost there. All right, seeing as there are no special presentations, we will, in fact, now jump into public comment. So if anybody would like to speak on something that is not already on the agenda, now would be the time to do so. Please come on up, say your name. Fair enough.
And to let commenters know, I'll be tracking your 3 minutes for you. When you have 30 seconds remaining, the light will turn yellow, and when the light turns red, your time is up.
Don't attend all the meetings, so I might bring something up that's already been discussed. At one of my meetings, I asked to have an agenda item made to be able to talk about the wood pallets that are on Mount Shasta Boulevard and are seating for 2 restaurants. And I want to talk really quick about that. I've mentioned it before. We have like a beautification committee. We have like a ordinance that you have to have a sign approved. You have this alpine look for the town. And I have an opinion about those were put up 5 years ago. And the reason I'm bringing it up and asking it to be an agenda item is because in May, it comes up for its 6-month renewal again. And I want that addressed, and I want the community to have a chance to speak. I will tell you that when I bring it up with people, they don't agree with me. But I feel strongly there's 13 places to eat outdoors in this community, and on the main street, you're breathing the fumes, and I think we're covering up the buildings. People are paying a lot of money for rent. You can't see it when you're driving through. So I have a really strong opinion, and I'd like people to come and speak up. I would like to have an agenda item on that. There was something I read that said whether or not we're going to fix the clock. Somebody educated me that there's a part missing, but I don't think the word should be whether. I think the community can afford to fix the clock because we have Roseburg property that's brought in a rent for parking trucks, $1,500 a month for a year or more, and I think that money should go into a general fund to pay for the clock. So it feels to me like the beautification committee should realize that money's there because it's community money that's been collected and it's probably being used for general fund. That was something I wanted to bring up. Okay. 1 minute to see if I got it. So I do want to come in and talk to this person about the monthly investment report. I need to understand more about that. I read about that. I want to understand more about that funds. Okay, thanks. Let me know if I can get on the agenda for that item, an agenda item. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Looks like we've got at least one more coming up for public comment. Feel free.
Hi, my name is Anastasia Sprout, and I am a relatively new resident of Mount Shasta, but for fun, I decided to start a local newspaper. This was inspired by an interview that I was blessed to do as the result of coming here in December. So I was able to meet Police Chief Robert Gibson and do an interview of him and Dan, if I'm saying this right. Say it, Dan.
Go for it.
Okay. Giacomo, thank you. So they are featured in this newspaper. Someone was kind enough to bring me a box of these Mount Shasta Heralds from 2021. I thought this was a fantastic newspaper. It still exists, but it has new owners. So there's a lot of residents that are saying, wow, yeah, we need something local with really local news. So I'm gonna do one more free edition and see how it goes, and then just get feedback. People like it, maybe we'll continue. So I brought you all a copy, and there'll be some, I have 2 restaurants, or 2 places, the Spirit of Mount Shasta and I'm forgetting, the bike shop that's Grizzlies? Anyway, I have it in the, I'm posting on Nextdoor about it, so I'll go ahead and hand out copies now. And I would like to find a way of just helping to get things that are important to residents that you all are working on to the residents, the information, and also a reciprocal loop. Maybe there's things that you might read in the paper that will be helpful for you to hear. So I'll pass it out now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that, by the way. I think it is, I think a lot of us would agree that it is something that is great to have in the community. And I think if you go around, I'm just speaking for myself, but there's probably a lot of places that would be happy to have it on display.
So far we got 2, maybe grow, and thank you very much.
Is there anybody else that, well, it looks like we got another taker. Come on up.
Like at nighttime right along and see what we actually do.
Hi, Araya, part of the Yeah movement. Actually, I invited Anastasia to the last meeting where she met the chief and got that wonderful interview, and I'm so excited she wrote a newspaper. That's awesome. I have invitations here for our next monthly community dinner. Usually, we're going for second Saturday, February. The second Saturday is Valentine's Day, so we figured we'd just bump it and do third Saturday. Just figured that might work better. So yeah, I just want to invite everybody from the community, everyone on the council, everyone is welcome to join the conversation for affordable housing. That's part of that is tiny houses, but it's not only tiny houses. There's a lot of different ways that we could go at affordable housing. And so I just also wanted to thank Todd and thank Kim and thank everyone that has been really receptive and open to communication and really actively looking to answer questions from the community regarding different ways that we can have affordable housing, and actively answering and looking for answers when we don't immediately know what the answer is, and just continuing to build solutions together. So just want to thank everybody for that.
Thank you very much. Looks like we got another one.
Aloha! My name's Afa, part of the Yeah movement. That one's mine, the gorgeous one that just went that way. Again, thank you. She sent out this is a broad invitation to our next community dinner, which is February Saturday the 21st at 5 p.m. at the old Nazi building, 954 Old Stage Road. We had a nice little tiny house tour last time. We're gonna have dinner there, it'll be a lot of fun. And so everyone's invited, all staff. And we're going to Planning Commission, and then we're going to invite all of them too. So it's just broad. We expect to have, 20 to 30 people, and it's just a broad dinner, break bread, Q&A about whatever's going on with the city, usually around Danko townhomes, worker, qualified housing at the landing, income qualified housing, alternative housing and tiny houses, just pretty laid back, chill thing. So that's the invitation. Last weekend, I think we had our first little grant writing team get together at Anastasia's place, actually, which is gorgeous, and had about 5 of us, one of them being a member of the City Planning Commission in Dunsmuir that wants to take the tiny house ordinance and put it on the agenda. And once that magical date happens, then we'll just ducks fly together and start going that way and help them copy and paste, and then push it towards the first and second reading of the council, maybe. And then same thing's happening in the city of Weed. And so, again, tip your hats. You guys are doing such an amazing job. And I know we touch bases in the city of Wairika for the same thing, and they, just from watching their video, they did have a lot of interest in a tiny house movement. So just small little breadcrumbs are going across. And we have a HOA guy in Lake Shasta that we're supposed to meet up with, I think, in the next week or 2. So just really good job, really proud of you guys. Very extremely thankful for open transparency and communication, and thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Alpha. And Anybody else out there for an item not on the agenda? Going once? Sold. All right, moving on. We will move on to council and staff comments. Anybody on council want to make a comment on something not on the agenda to start? Okay. You just need to wait? Okay. Going down the line there?
Oh, sure.
All right, perfect.
Sorry about that. At the last council meeting, we talked about the potential for, to explore the possibility of combining our sewer and drainage funds. And, the reading I've gotten is from our city attorney and looking at case laws. It doesn't really, without rehashing it, one of the things that I promised I would do is contact other cities up here. Spoke to the finance directors in Wairika, Weed, and Dunsmuir, and all three of them, of course, have a sewer enterprise fund, and the other three cities rely on grants and repairs from their general fund. So they don't have a separate, separate drainage funds. So still, I haven't gotten a call back from John. I think the big determination now is under 218, can you actually go out and we know what it costs to provide this service. Can we charge less than what we need just to start staunching the bleeding? And that's what I'm trying to answer next. So more to come. I haven't forgotten it. We're gonna move on it.
Before you go on,
Yeah.
Chair. So if it's not part of the sewer fund and it remains a separate fund, stormwater systems have to, any improvements, any 218 process has to be affirmed by a positive vote, not a protest vote, correct?
That's,
So if we went out with a, we're at $1, we need to go to $6 per ratepayer, there would have to be an affirmation for 50% plus.
now, this isn't to disagree in any way or disparage our city attorney. I do want to get another reading because it seems illogical to pass it because it seems like no one would ever pass this. And the idea that you have a different 218 process for just drainage seems odd. So I'm also chasing that lead down.
So you're actually not sure
I'm
that
going by.
we did this correctly the first time?
I'm going through the adamancy of our city attorney,
Yeah.
and we went through that. It just has struck me, as I think it struck the rest of council, that it's odd that there's a process that's different for one 218 fund than everything else. So library expansion, we're still waiting for a couple bids to come back. We also have Nolan Tam contact us out of the blue to say, hey, how's the project going? And so we said, hey, they got a local estimator, and, and they weren't shilling for work. They were like, well, how would they know how to price some of this stuff unless, they had some guidance on it? So they threw in a bid. It's under the amount. It would be them with a little bit of oversight on an estimating firm. We've got to go through the process, but I think that's ideal. Anyway, so there's that. Then lots of landing stuff. There were meetings last week related to infrastructure. Tom Hesselden's, who's done a lot of the site plan work, Kim Fowler, our planning director, and Ken Kellogg, public works director, were on the call, as well as the power group. They're engineer. And so we were just trying to figure out, well, okay, how do we get to the logistics of resizing? So we've got sewer that serves Church Street and onto the east side parcel and across to the northwest corner of the west side parcel at the landing, you know, the need for a pump station, all the nitty-gritty stuff. And at the same time, we're still working with the affordable housing groups. And what we're working to do is, Kim's going to close the loop. We're on the SLA and say, look, the amount of time it's going to take us to get funding to do affordable housing is a couple years out. So, you know, we're going to say that we can't come to an agreement in our time frame, close SLA, and still within a development agreement with the city, right in there that we're still going to do the affordable. And we're looking, we've tossed everything around from tiny home clusters to you know, affordable senior cottages to traditional affordable housing as a mix, and more to come. But things are moving. It always feels like it's not moving as fast as we'd like it to, but these guys are serious and they're spending money, and we've got to have site control to do the affordable here, so that's coming soon.
All right. Anything from Planning Department or Fire Department?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just a little clarification about one of the consent agenda items. I had a question. There was an RFP process that was evaluated by our staff for the vegetation management grant. There was 8 that were received. Went through them all, and they were ranging anywhere from 1,000 an acre to just under about 4,000 an acre. So the process came down to local knowledge of city land as well as previous done work on city property. That's where the decision came down overall, and cost per acre, we'll be able to do more land that of the city property to accomplish, you know, the vegetation management.
Awesome. Thanks, Chief. Appreciate that. Any other council or staff comments at this time?
Does Ken have anything? No? Ken? No? All right, so yeah, I wanted to address a few issues.
Please.
So with respect to the speaker, I think Therese, on the fixing of the clock and the temperature gauge, we did have an agenda item on that, and it was last time, 2 weeks ago, and it was fairly negative. The repair job for the thermometer is apparently impossible due to lack of parts, repair-wise, right?
The thermometer, we have not been able to find parts, or anyone can rebuild the existing parts. Right. Now, having said that, after our last council meeting, I was approached by Mike Yee, he's an electrical engineer, lives here in town, and would like to take a shot at it. So I'm trying to set up a meeting for Mike to go take a look at it and see if
At the thermometer?
The thermometer, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're going to go on the clock.
Yeah, on the clock, Ken, Public Works Director, did isolate parts that would fix the clock, but his feeling was that they would not be long-lasting repairs. In other words, maybe a year or so. So there is a cost to replace the clock, and that's in the 40,000 range?
Yeah, 40 to 50.
So to me, it's almost a ballot measure. Do you want to fix this clock and thermometer, and this is what it will cost to replace them with similar architectural features, to me, at that point. But it was addressed. Those who would like to keep the clock versus having it removed, the cost to remove them will be practically zero, by the way. Put in trees or something. The cost of replacing them for long-term workability, serviceability of both items would be in the well, if it's going to be both, it's probably approaching $100,000, I'd imagine.
We have yet to be able to find anybody that manufactures a pedestal thermometer. It's not made anymore that we can find.
So for those of you who might seem a little frustrated, might be a little frustrated about the two non-functioning entities down there, I'm with you on that. I wish there was an easy solution, but apparently if this engineer can't fix the thermometer, it's going to be a non-working item there. So something for future discussion, yeah, as to what to do. Yeah. You want to say something about that to me? Well, I don't know about that. That doesn't sound right to me. Wait a minute, the Roseburg and Wheat?
No, the old mill property like that.
The landing, there were.
Those are rental money she's talking about.
For replacement of utility poles.
Yeah, I think it's trending more towards something on a, well, yeah, no, ballot measure type thing. And don't forget, we do have an election coming up, and the ballot measures, if you want to do some more interesting things than a tax, not more, that's pretty interesting, but other interesting things, this is the time to do it because they'll be cheap. They'll be cheap to put on the ballot. So if there's other things we want to do, the due date on that is July or August, right? July, I think.
July.
So yeah, we do have to get to what we want to do, especially on the tax measure. The other thing had to do with Prop 68. Saw the poster on the board out here as I walked in, and so I've been researching the Prop 68 process, and because I was just curious how it works. So it turns out, well, at least for the district, and I would imagine it's the same for us. You get your grant awarded, in this case, for all these different localities, was $177,000 about 3 years ago, maybe 4. And it's not clear who manages the money, but it seems that staff can manage the funds. We, as a council, have to approve the application for the grant, which we did. I looked that up. But the management of the funds it's unclear if it has to be council approved as far as project lists or even an individual project. Shannon, the director of the rec district, worked extensively with her board to come up with a project list. And the big one is the roof of this building. And here's the thing, and I don't know if it's the same for the council, for the city, but you have to spend the money first. You get a nod as to whether the money will be forthcoming, but you have to spend the money first, then be recompensed by the state through Prop 68. So they had to go out and get a bridge loan, very favorable bridge loan, 0 interest, 0 fees. So it's just unbelievable. And not only that, the payback was extended 2 or 3 years. So whoever this bank was more than generous for banks, 0 interest, 0 fees. Yeah.
And what are roughly the stipulations for the use of that?
It has to be park oriented.
Okay.
But that's very broadly,
broad,
it's a pretty broad standard. And so we, as you'll see at the visitor center is city property, I believe, and the visitor center is managed by Chamber at our request, well, we pay them to run it. But anyhow, the Prop 68 is right there on the board, and that landscaping project was Prop 68 money. And there's a roof improvement, either to complete what they started or to actually do the whole roof. So visitor center, city, it's parkish, park-like. And then there's the parking lot over by the Barnell property, what's currently Ramirez, next to Ramirez Welding. So that one might be a little...
If you want me to, I can walk through.
Have you got some things lined up beyond that?
Well, there are a couple projects that were in the original grant, and that was to pave that parking lot and and.
The parking lot at the visitor center, which you want
Yeah.
to transfer to the roof. Right?
And so we've got an estimate on the roof. It's been, and then we have, rearranging landscape elements at City Hall was another one. Another one was
Right.
what they were calling Castle Creek Park, which involved, a design that none of.
So losing parking and then creating parking elsewhere.
So we're trying to reprogram the money so we can get the roof at the visitor center done. Instead of doing the landscaping at City Hall, we want to remove a problem tree and then reprogram the rest of the money for a design and repaving for the 2 Chestnut parcels that would work in conjunction with, if we ever do the daylighting of Castle Creek, but also to provide additional overflow parking, especially during our peak seasons. And it just, the state has been wanting us to slowly reprogram each element. It's in process, it's glacially slow, but we'll get it done. We still have 3.5 years on the grant.
So if there's any money left at all at $11,000, the rec district manages a city property, the ball fields over there by Sisson. They need a fence replaced, so that might be something for $11,000. So do talk to
I think we'll have
the folks here.
And
as long as we get it done in a time where cost escalators don't eat everything.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be more by the time you get around to it, but at this point, it's 11, oh, that's prevailing wage.
Okay.
And so that's something that's
Well-
very park-oriented.
the lights at the Shasta East ball fields as well.
Yeah,
Those are also down. We're having to move, the summer softball league had to
yeah,
move
that's,
locations.
the pricing on that was pretty high the last time I checked, yeah.
I think
So she mentioned the fencing at the ballpark.
if you guys have a different understanding, my understanding is Prop 68 is now done. We've got the new
Yeah.
parks measure that's under Prop
Park 4, yeah.
Yeah, so we need to look at that.
Yeah, to try and see what we can do well in advance. So I've got some good stuff on, well, yeah, it's good, hopeful stuff on the Collier Interpretive Center, but I'll save that for meetings at the end, yeah. So that's it for now, thanks.
Okay. Well, thank you. Anything from this side over here? All right. On to number 6 then, committee updates. The
One.
Sure, go ahead.
So DEAC met, I'm going to reiterate, that's a great high-functioning group. We're looking at potentially bringing in additional murals in some locations, finishing up the wraps on the Power Box art. Danny from Fifth Seasons and I are going to work on Biketober. We're just trying to figure out a way to raise some additional money, potentially through GoFundMe, but we can't do that through a government site. So we pulled in the chamber to talk about that issue. And the other big thing is, and I've talked about this before, is how do we capitalize on the 250th anniversary of the nation and 101st of the renaming of this city from Sisson to Mount Shasta. And we've got a meeting on, Kim and I have a meeting with Siskiyou Economic Development on Wednesday to go over some ideas. I've had some conversations with the chamber, and we've gotten some great in-house ideas, so we're trying to figure that out before we lose daylight. And let's see, what else? We had a couple new faces, very enthusiastic folks that were considering the idea of joining DEAC, and think they'd be a great addition. I can't say enough about what a high-functioning, solid group this is.
Excellent. Any updates for the other committees there? I know we've got the next agenda, or well, 2 agenda items from now has to do with the committees as well, but anything else? All right. Moving on to item 7, and there has been a request to to move item C off of the consent agenda and discuss it separately before going through there. So we will remove item C and just go through A and B, and I'll read those now. Consent agenda, the city manager recommends approval of the following consent agenda items. All resolutions and ordinances on this agenda or added hereto shall be introduced or adopted as applicable by title only, and the full reading thereof is hereby waived. A, approval of minutes, January 26th, 2026, regular meeting. B, police department monthly report.
All right, move to approve consent agenda items A and B, title only.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, any abstain? Okay. What's that? Oh, and one absent. Should we move to discuss item C separately right now then? We'll jump it ahead of the others real quick.
Yeah, so this is in relation to a wildfire mitigation grant. It's something that we've gotten before. We were awarded $393,400 to do what we can to remove as much fuel and snags as we can around the city. Any place that we can get access to, just so we're prepared for fire season. We have got a lot of responses. We reviewed all the RFPs, and the fire department chose to go with Mellow Excavation. I think the big deciding factor here is local knowledge, one. Two is that there is a savings because the cost of staging and pulling all the equipment is happening in town as opposed to, Sacramento or Reading or some further locales. And we just know, ultimately with local knowledge, we know our problem areas, and we can be a little bit more strategic when removing fuels with an eye on what we can remove to limit property owners from being dropped from their insurance. And so we made that award, and we run this, until the money runs out, and we remove as much as we can.
To the chair.
Yeah, please.
I was a little confused by Corey's statements during the beginning of the meeting. Did he say that it was chosen in error or something?
I didn't follow that completely either. There wasn't an error made. It was discussed, and it just this seemed like the right path. And this gentleman again was our fire chief. He bought a masticator, and he's done work for us before, and he gets on it.
So, sorry, second question.
Please.
Am I following that he may not be the lowest bid, but in conjunction with where he lives and that sort of thing factored in, he would be the lowest?
That's my understanding. I wasn't part of the RFP review team. I saw it after. I think the big kicker is the guy knows where the problem areas are, and we'll be able to hit those first and hit the ground running, as opposed to having the ground time of trying to figure out what's first.
I think so. I mean, he's not here, so I don't want to. But I think what he had mentioned was the bids. There was 8 of them. I think that might have been the word that sounded like error. Was 8 bids, or no? I don't know. But it came in at a rate of somewhere between 1,000 and 4,000, and we're going with the one that's 1,200. And I guess he was saying that the extra 200 it was worth it for the local knowledge. Essentially, I think was the gist of it. Oh, please.
John, did you want to ask questions?
No, do we have to go to public comment on this now?
I think we should.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Did you see the criteria for evaluation of the bids? I'm assuming price was one of the factors, but there's usually some weighted average of different criteria that can easily make somebody who's 1,200 versus 1,000 the lowest bidder. Was that the situation here?
So I can't honestly say yes. We have score sheets for any RFP that comes in that are supposed to be filled out and then turned in and held on file in case, somebody wants to contest the decision. So I'm assuming so. I'm sorry, I just didn't confirm that.
Yeah, go for it.
One more question, if I can. Is the plan for vegetation clearage, the where, the order, we're going to do this, then that, and here's the general plan for it, is that done, or is there still room for input into that?
Oh, input. We're looking at, of course, the landing is always a problem area. We've got a list. One of the things that I think it's important to point out is that we have abandoned and distressed properties that are a chronic nuisance, and they've been cited over and over again. And those are the places where their neighbors are now in jeopardy of losing their insurance. And those are the places that we want to hit because we're not getting compliance.
Thank you.
I have a question on that. If this is a property that's owned by somebody, most likely they're owned by somebody not in town, I'm guessing, most of the time. So if the city is doing this at a cost of $1,200 just assume it's like a 1 acre parcel, do we have the ability then to place some sort of lien on this property, similar to what we're doing with the hotel, where if it ever does go into sale, the city will be able to recoup the cost?
We do, and
Excellent.
And we use it vigorously.
Oh, lovely. Any other questions? We'll open it up to public comment, if anybody would like to comment. Nope. Yeah, we're just clearing hazard vegetation on. Sorry. Okay. Anybody else? Feel free to. Okay. We'll bring it back for discussion amongst the council. Anybody?
Just to Todd, do you feel that you need to put this on the next agenda because you need to clear some question marks regarding the procedure?
Again, I wasn't on the review team. I read all the applications, and
well, I'm ready to move if you're okay.
My first reaction after going through them all is we made the right choice. But I'm not part of the review team. They had different fire department personnel go through it, and there's nobody that knows our problems better than they do. But reading through, to me, it was a clear choice.
You feel all right with it?
I'll move to approve.
Jeff?
Okay, I'll move to approve consent agenda item 7C, vegetation management agreement by title only.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? One absent. All right, moving on to agenda item number 8, committee appointments. And I notice we have a number of these. I don't know if we want to go through these one at a time, committee by committee. I think it was one person per committee, if I remember.
Yeah, I think typically what we've done in the past is, we have 3 committees with people willing to volunteer with chronic shortage. We have, for the beautification committee, Lori Oliver, and for DIAC, we have Maria Miller. And for the planning commission, we have Tim Stearns. I think typically and correct me if I'm wrong, we usually have the applicants say a few words and why they want to be on the committee, and then council has a discussion. So,
Sure.
Lori, do you want to come up and introduce yourself?
My name's Lori Oliver. Can you hear me?
Just bring that towards
Is that
you,
good? I've been working with the Beautification Committee for about 25 years, and a vacancy came up on the board, so I'm here to apply for that vacancy. I've spent about 30 years being a landscape contractor and owning a nursery. I think I'm pretty qualified to help move some things along, so I appreciate you considering that. Do you have any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Lori? No? Any, okay. Any discussion warranted here?
I don't remember that we have in the past. There's no harm in it if it's, I guess, council's discretion. I don't
think we do.
I don't think we have.
So typically, we've done this during special meetings, and because of the earlier time, there's not always public present. So we can do the nominations individually, or I would suggest hearing from all three candidates and then doing one set of public comment.
Sounds good to me. Thank you, Lori.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Excellent. All right, and next up we have, scrolling down.
We've got
Maria Miller.
Yeah, as an applicant for DIAC.
Hello, Council. I am really excited to be here and to have learned about this vacancy at one of the last Rotary meetings I attended when Todd mentioned it. I'm new to Mount Shasta as of spring of '24, and I will never forget my first 4th of July downtown and just being like, this is the best place in the world. Like, I'm so grateful to get to live here and be a part of this community. And since my husband and I opened Redwood Gallery on the Boulevard, I've been thinking about traffic patterns and ways people move around town, and learning that, I can maybe contribute and help. And then when I went to last week's meeting, learning that a lot of what they're working on is related to art, and that I'm starting to build up a directory of local artists, I was like, I could really maybe I could be useful here, and I'd love to be able to help out to a community that has supported us and welcomed us. And yeah, so that's why we're here.
Excellent, thank you. Any questions for Maria? Oh, please.
So there are, is it all right if I share two or three? Okay. So one thing that always strikes me when folks come into the gallery and I ask them, are you local, are you visiting? And we start talking and they look at a photo or a piece of art and it's of Sisson Meadow. And I'm like, do you know Sisson Meadow? And they're like, no, where is it? I'm like, literally 2 blocks away. So I think that way signage throughout town would be so helpful to let people know about the headwaters and the library and the meadow and different things like that. And even since the boulevard is such a dense thoroughfare, but it's not the only commercial space in town, I think that some way signage to get people onto Chestnut would be and to Petals and things like that would be really useful too. And then we do live in such a beautiful place, but if you look around at the buildings, sometimes they're a little sad. And so I think some murals and some art on our electrical boxes would be a really great enhancement and just make it pop for people who visit and really stand out as a place they want to return to. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Excellent. And hardly needs an introduction, but sitting right there, Mr. Tim Stearns.
Tim Stearns for Planning Commission. What would you like to know? Thank you.
Yeah, what are your main goals on the plan?
Well, the idea of being on Planning Commission, number one, have a quorum so that the Planning Commission can meet and move things forward. Number two, work with the other members of the Planning Commission to move things forward.
Any other questions over here? No. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. A quorum would be good. A quorum would be good, yes.
Okay. I suppose now would be the time for discussion if we want to do, or yeah, public comment. If anybody has any public comment to make about any one or all three, or.
Public or private funding for the artwork?
If you would like to step forward to the microphone up here and say your name, and feel free to make a comment.
Nicholas Ryan, Robert Lucier, public or private funding for the artwork in town?
Are you asking if the proposed public artwork would be publicly or privately funded? Is that?
That is the English I use.
I would imagine it would probably be a mix of both, depending on the location of it. If it's on city-owned things, probably public. Okay. Any other public comment? Yes. All right.
Aloha, Afa. So, thank you for you three super awesome beings for all the experience that you do have, which is a lot, and stepping up to the plate. And I know our town appreciates each and every one of you. And you guys' aura is very bright, and your heart is very pure, and you're doing really, really, really good work. And I just want to take the second to appreciate them. So, thank you for stepping up.
Thank you, Afa. All right. Any other public comment? Okay. We'll bring it back for discussion.
Happy with the candidates? I'll move to approve Lori Oliver to the, no, excuse me, I'll move to appoint Lori Oliver to the Beautification Committee, Maria Miller to the Downtown Enhancement Advisory Committee, and Tim Stearns. Okay, one more time. I will move to appoint Lori Oliver to the Beautification Committee, Maria Miller to the Downtown Enhancement Advisory Committee, and Tim Stearns to the Planning Commission.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? And one absent.
Thank you all.
Well, thanks everybody for stepping up for that. Much appreciated. And welcome to the committees. We will have public comment for each agenda item. There was an initial public comment for period for things not on the agenda at the beginning of the meeting. No worries. Let's see. All right, so moving on to agenda item number 9. The subrecipient agreement with Great Northern Services to apply for CDBG funding. This is the city is preparing applications for the upcoming CDBG funding cycle. So toss it over to Todd.
Yeah. So for this year's Community Development Block Grant round, Great Northern Services, we've got Alicia Garcia with us tonight. We are we were going to seek reimbursement for senior snow removal, but we needed to hit a certain benchmark by the end of January. Obviously, we haven't gotten there. So we are focusing our efforts on two things. And that is reapplying for a grant for to create 30% planning drawings for the repaving of Mount Shasta Boulevard from one end to the other, to include bike lanes and, active transportation improvements that are consistent with our active transportation plan. And we are also seeking funds for a micro-enterprise program that would provide small grants for fledgling businesses, startups, for folks that are at or below 80% of the county's median family income. And we did something similar, I believe it was back in 2018, and it was a big success. And so this is the public meeting for this. We also need to hold a second public meeting in case anybody has comments. We're going to just kind of wrap that up quickly after we're done with this council meeting tonight, so we can get this all shipped off.
Excellent. Thank you, Todd. Oh, yeah, sorry.
My name,
yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. My name's Alicia. I'm one of the grant writers with Great Northern Services, and we assist the city of Mount Shasta with writing the grants. And as Todd mentioned, we wanted to submit 3 applications. The senior snow, we really had a lot of seniors that requested to see if we can reapply for that grant. Unfortunately, due to not having any snow, we haven't had any call outs for any snow removal. And as you guys mentioned, for the other funding, we have to spend the funding before they give us more funding. So we had to at least spend 50% of the funding to be able to reapply for the same grant. And as of right now, we've only been able to expend 40% of that senior snow. The Mount Shasta Master Plan is, it's a resubmission of an application that we submitted last year. We believe that we'll have a strong score to get the application approved, and that's for a 30% design, and that's at $300,000. The Micro Enterprise Assistant Program is also a resubmission. Last year, it was a first come, first served basis. And this year, they're scoring competitively. And so for that, for local small businesses here in the city of Mount Shasta, it's a grant for $560,000. And then, as you guys were mentioning, I was taking notes of some of the items that you guys were requesting and seeing where you guys can get extra funding. We have also talked to Todd, and for future funding, in 2026, the proposed method of distribution for CDBG funding is $27 million that it's going to be available. It's for infrastructure, community facilities, housing activities. The maximum award is $5 million for jurisdiction. So for community facilities, that could be Parks and Rec.
All right. Any questions over here? Jeffrey, Tessa, John? Todd, did you have more clarifying information on this one? Not just yet, sir.
On the grant.
What's that?
On the grant submission?
Yeah.
I don't. That really sums it up. We're just, we're at, once we wrap up council, we're going to hang around and see if anybody has any objections or cheers or jeers. Yeah.
Excellent. I did have a question for you there, if you don't mind, Alicia.
Yes.
You mentioned that last year we were unsuccessful in our submission, but you're more hopeful this year. So were we able to change some things from last year's submission?
Yes, it was an audit issue that the state was looking for. Just because Melissa was so new, we asked for extended timing, and we believe that we've achieved that goal, and we can submit a good application.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, that answers that question. Anybody else? All right. Public comment. If anybody would like to speak on this agenda item here, on this grant application.
So in in regards to the lake project we just talked about, I attended that meeting with Casey at Seven Sons, and the conversation we had was studies have proven if you limit people's freedom, they're more easy to control. Tighter bike lanes, tighter driving lanes, we're too free.
Okay. It looks like we've got another. Please step up.
Hi, my name is Nancy Swift. I'm with Jedi here in Mount Shasta, and I just wanted to clarify about this, and I'm glad that you're interested. These CDBG funds are perfect for the two uses you're suggesting. Jedi would be engaged, hopefully, to be the subrecipient to provide, and I wanted to clarify for businesses because they might have heard $560,000 for them. The money is for technical assistance and grants. So we anticipate making maybe 10 grants or more of up to $10,000 each for startup and existing businesses, like Todd said. And then also lots of individual business coaching and resource acquisition and helping get that grant that the city would offer and other financing. And Jedi's been in your community for a very long time supporting these size of businesses. Microenterprise equals 5 or fewer people, including the business owner, and you do have to be income eligible. So there are a few restrictions on the money, and it's absolutely critical for all of your plans in terms of supporting the smallest of businesses to create jobs in our community, and also building the camaraderie and the, like tonight, there's a lot of spirit of people wanting to contribute and excitement. I think you called it youthful enthusiasm. I used to be that youth, so I'm gonna go with other people who are doing it now, and it's wonderful. So this kind of a grant and these kinds of businesses who would be eligible are prolific in our community, and they create most of the jobs in our community, and we're excited to be a part of the project. So thanks for moving it forward.
Thank you, and thanks for what you do. I've got multiple friends that have utilized your services, so. All right. Any other members of the public wish to speak on this? Okay, we'll bring it back for discussion. How about over here? No? John?
Yeah,
Please.
Through the chair, thank you. So Todd, are we approving or pending approval of the grant application or the subrecipient relationship?
The submission of the grant application.
Anybody? Would anybody like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll move to approve the submission of grant applications to the State Community Development Block Grant Program for this Mount Shasta Boulevard Master Plan, not Lake Street, and the Micro Enterprise Assistance Program.
Second.
Excellent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? And one absent. All right, excellent. Item number 10, a public hearing on the military equipment report. California law requires that the council receive an annual report on the inventory and use of military equipment. So this would be, I believe we have a stand-in for Chief Gibson.
Hello, I'm Sergeant Devin Purdy. I'm here on behalf of Sergeant Chief Gibson to address the military equipment inventory. On September 30th, 2021, California Assembly Bill 481 was signed into law. This bill requires all law enforcement agencies participating in the federal surplus property program law of 1948, also known as the 1033 program, to have policy addressing the use of military equipment. Pretty much we have 6 rifles, 2 AR-15s, and 4 M14s. They're currently locked up, double locked. No military equipment is currently in service. No annual cost with the equipment. No complaints or concerns received last year. And no plans to acquire any additional equipment.
And if I can add, speaking to Chief Gibson today, basically why we have these is they're collecting dust. It's just easier to keep them where they are than to spend the money to send them, dispose of them.
All right, any questions from council here? John?
So we're receiving the report, there won't be a motion to accept the report? From a technical standpoint?
I don't think there's an action needed. I think it's just a required.
We're receiving the report, right?
Yeah, annual inventory.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Any questions? We do. Questions, Jeffrey? All right, at this point, if anybody from the public would like to comment, ask questions? Okay. Seeing none, we will bring it back for discussion. Okay. We have received the report.
So folks are wondering, this is done
Yearly.
Annually, right? Yeah, it's usually a non-issue.
All right. Cool. All right, moving on then to item number 11. Do we have any council reports on attendance at appointed outside meetings? I believe we have at least one over here.
Yeah, so last week I attended the Collier Interpretive and Information Center monthly meeting up in Wairika, and the organization is down to under $3,000 in operating funds, so it's getting pretty dire at this point. The main hope rests with Nancy Ogren, a supervisor for the county. I think she represents the Wairika area. She was talking with a representative at the Community Foundation of North State, particularly the Driscoll Fund, and other educators about changing the focus, the main thrust of the center more towards the interpretive side versus the information side, generally improving both the exterior and interior educational functions of the place, in the hope that after those improvements, the number of visits by school groups would go from 0 to a lot, and that the mission of these educators to make it a go-to place for educational purposes would then, in turn, lead to funding that keeps the center from closing, essentially. So I surprisingly was the only one that was really enthusiastic out of the whole board. I was shocked that nobody else really thought it was a great idea. It's really the only way to go. The information center south of here, the California Visitor Center is much more thorough down in Redding or Anderson, wherever it is. And then in the other direction, as you get into Ashland, they have a really beautiful information center there, but it also has interpretive aspects. There's lots of room for improvement at the Collier Interpretive Center. Heading in an educational direction is, to me, the way to go, and hopefully something can transpire. Short of that, we're just hoping to get some more funding from different cities, including Mount Shasta, but the situation is getting pretty dire and is heading towards potential closure. So the request for $1,000 will probably be higher. This will probably be more than $1,000 for the next fiscal year. So we'll see what happens there. So anyhow, that's my report.
We got one over here. Could you step up to the microphone here?
For those who aren't sure, it's north of Wairika. It's north of Hornbrook, I believe. Yeah.
It's almost to the Oregon border.
Yeah, it's north of Hornbrook. I actually take that exit. You pass the Anderson grade, you go over that summit, the Anderson summit, and then as you're coming down, it's, yeah, the rest stop. Yeah, that place. Yeah, and that building is looking to be hopefully improved. Pretty long-term project, but we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Councilmember Klug.
I attended a BNI meeting in Reading, Business Networking Institute. There are people from every sect of business that comes, and it's all about networking and sharing needs and connecting business wants throughout the community. And I got in touch with the BNI lead about opening one in Mount Shasta. There are dues involved, so it's really about like kind of buying in for that expansion of networking and getting together as a business group. We need about 17 charter members to get it started. I don't know that I have the bandwidth to take this on, so if anyone wants to take the lead or talk to me about it, please do.
Excellent. Anybody else? I did hold my first coffee with the mayor session at Seven Sons, and there was, somebody counted for me, I think he counted 27 people there. So yeah, we used every chair in the house and had standing room only, and there was a robust discussion for a couple hours. It went well. We'll be doing the next one on the 24th of this month. It'll be an evening one, going to alternate morning and evenings to allow for folks who have differing schedules to attend. Still somewhat up in the air as to where, but it's likely going to be at Clandestino. The gentleman who owns that, Nicholas, was there, and he offered the use of his facility for the next one, so hope to see lots of people there. But yeah, it was a great discussion. People had lots to talk about. Took it back to staff, met with Kim, and hopefully get some things in the works. Cool. All right, future agenda items. Does anybody have anything they would like to add?
Yeah, we need to put a firm date on what we're going to be asking the people for their sales tax increase. So we have to put a due date, May, June, what?
Can we add that any other ballot measures?
Plus other ballot measures? Yes, we need to brainstorm and come up with any other great ideas. But the due date is July, so we want to have this handled by June. So maybe we have to make maybe we should make a decision on this by May.
We have a calendar put together. We're just finalizing that. That'll be out on the website. But we also have a list of additional town halls and other attempts to reach voters. It's just about finalized. We'll have it out this week.
As far as the timeline?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's with the consultant?
Yes.
Okay.
Does anybody, do we want to?
Second.
There we go. Got that one. How about talking about the parklets? Anybody have an appetite for adding that? Jeffrey? John? Okay.
No, the parklets?
Yeah.
I'll let the planning commission decide what they want.
Seems fair. Okay.
So we're close on bringing the master fee schedule. I don't know. We've got, Ken's got a couple things he's working out, but we'll be back soon. We should probably remove senior snow removal just because it seems like they've nixed that into the future. CDBG has. So.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Oh, right. All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.